Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Crossover. Starring Josh Johnson and Chris McGill. Featuring Christina Thorson. And of course, you, the Instagram live chat. Now, sit back and enjoy this week's edition of The Crossover. Powered by Card Ladder.
Yo. Thinks we did get it.
What's going on?
I'm not trim.
What's going on with that PPP? Letting some people come in. Did you know that it's been we missed 2 episodes, but there was technically 20 days off, basically 3 weeks off.
Wow.
Yeah.
Somehow everyone survived, you think?
Judging by some of the comments, I'm impressed that people made it.
What does it mean for your show when people tell you what not to talk about?
That the audience is the inmates are running the assignment.
It's like emailing a First Take show and be like, don't talk about the Lions-Chiefs game last night. It's like, well, we probably will.
No, that's all right. I like that. I like to hear from people what they want to hear, what they don't want to hear. But I think sometimes they don't even know what they want to hear, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, so it has been a hiatus. And first of all, what am I doing? I forgot what I'm doing here.
The date.
Let me welcome everybody back to the crossover. Today is Friday, September 8th. Summer is over. Fair?
Yep.
Not in Dallas and Phoenix, though.
Nope, it's 1:10 today, so.
Okay, let's do some mail days, if we have any.
I don't have any. I just have a PSA return.
Yeah, anything that I posted to my Instagram story, which is now a story highlight from like pickups and grades and stuff that happened at the Burbank show. I'm not going to show that again here. So, but you can go see it on my Instagram story highlights. But I do have 2 cards that came in the mail while we were gone that
Nice.
Showing up that I can show. And then you have a PSA return. So you want to go first? My cards are babies.
I don't have it with me. It was just what I picked up at Burbank. I posted it to my Instagram.
Got it. All right. Well, I'll just show my 2 little cards quickly. And then we'll move on. So the first one is a Le'Veon Bell. This is 2020. Yeah, 2020 Prism Gold Le'Veon Bell. From a seller in the UK. I don't know what they were doing with this card, but thank you. And then the other one is a Fireworks Black 2019 Prism 1 of 1 Jokic, which will pair nicely with the Luka that Christine and I also own. So 2 quick mail days there. Those are over. And I know we have some updates. Tons of updates relating to the Card Ladder app.
Yes. Let's start with what pretty sure I haven't shown this yet because we haven't done it in a few weeks. But if you go to the shop page, there's a new little button right here. And this I'm calling the shop feed. So if you click that, it'll show you all of your saved searches in one feed. So you don't have to. Because I have like 4 right now. Sometimes I have more, but I got annoyed with like clicking 4 times to see them all, you know? And so this basically it's just like eBay's save search feed. It sorts by newest. So if you just like refresh this, basically you'll just get the newest as they come in.
That's really cool.
Let's see. And then the app. Okay, so the app. You don't even know about most of this.
I do not.
So at the show, I noticed a lot of people seemed confused about the bottom having sales history and search. So I kind of combined them and allowed us to move shop up to the top. So now you've got shop as a main option. And then I'm calling it sales with a little search icon, but it's basically sales history, but more focused on just doing searches very quickly. So you're going to do the search, and you still have camera, so you can still search by image. But you're doing the search, and then, like I was searching Mahomes Black 101s, brings you back to sales history. So now you can sort, you can filter, you can save it, you can do all the magic of sales history while still getting the quick search. So that's going to, I think, remove a lot of confusion for people at shows. They'll know which one to use. That's the main use case at shows, I was noticing. People were just searching. And then some people complain that I got rid of the global search, so I put it back here. So if you go to more, click this little search icon. This will let you search across sales history, ladder, and shop. Because some people want to see, like, which cards do you have that are verified, what's available in the shop really quick. I can search all three, basically. So that's back. And then I moved private sale and price check into this list. So you can get to all these things. We basically have everything anyone's ever wanted. You just got to know where to get it.
Nice. That's amazing. Yeah. That's we're going to talk about the Burbank show in a little bit. But it was cool watching you move around the floor, and you are so much less shy than me when it comes to just like asking somebody, what are you using to price your cards? And then, I'm using Card Ladder. And then you're like, well, how are you using it? And then you notice quirks about the way that they're using it, and taking how you saw them using the app, and then going back to the hotel even, and twerking, and then tweaking the app. Twerking? Not twerking. He did that at a different night, but tweaking the app so that it can better serve like how people are using it as you're watching them use it. It was pretty cool.
There's ways that you and I use the app, collectors use the app, and then there's ways that dealers use the app, people at shows use the app. And I feel like the app is more for like in-person, the best use cases at these shows. So I just thought, let's just simplify things for people and then still give them all the power in the menu, like, because we have so many people that want to do it in different ways. Like, here, go to the menu, find your favorite way, go nuts.
Yeah, that's cool. That's great. Okay. All right, let's get to some questions. And we have one huge topic of the day, of the last 3 weeks that we will get to, but a couple other questions to take care of first. So the first one here is from the Couchman Sports Cards, who says, Are you sorry for skipping the last 2 weeks and disappointing your loyal listeners?
This wasn't Publius?
This was not Publius, no, but shout out Publius.
Oh, he's the most disappointed on his stories every week. No, we were at Burbank last week, and the week before we were traveling for Burbank. That's life.
Yep. So you're not sorry. Is that right?
This is like when you were like, say happy birthday to Shay. No, thank you. Don't force me to say it.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about the Burbank Card Show. The Card Shop SD asks, love when you guys discuss the state of the hobby. How was your experience at Burbank? And Iowa Dave says, now that you've been to the Burbank show a couple of times and you've seen it up close, how do you think it became one of the best shows in the hobby so quickly? What are they doing that other shows might be able to learn from? So let's just use those two questions, some of these things, to prompt the discussion about how we enjoy the Burbank Card Show.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just that it's on the West Coast, to be honest with you. Like, there's a lot of people that are excited to have a show closer to them, myself included. I sensed a lot of excitement from the California people, like, hey, this is our show, it's close to us, it's in a nice area next to Disneyland, it's perfect for families. The building was really new. I think Rob said it was like 2017, the one we were in was built. Air conditioning was nice. The whole thing was carpeted. Like, on top of that, like, other than that, dude, like, we were talking about this a lot there. You don't need to do too terribly much to make a good show. Lay out some tables, make it organized, make it clean, have it make sense, and people will show up.
Yeah. Can't emphasize enough how much I love an excuse to take a trip to Southern California.
Yeah.
Especially during the summer when the weather there is just beautiful. maybe not so much inland. I think we actually got lucky that Anaheim was a little bit cooler over the weekend of the show. But if it gets too hot inland, just take a little ride out to the beach. So it's amazing having a reason to go to Southern California in and of itself. I loved how the show was divided into dealers up top on the second floor and corporate booths on the primary floor or the lower floor. And I spent a little bit of time on each floor. Most of my time was spent on the second floor among us at our booth, which was on the second floor, just outside of the room full of dealers. But I was downstairs a little bit too. I graded some cards with PSA. I took some shots on the tag basketball hoop. Saw some friends who work at the different booths and stuff down there, but definitely loved just being able to go upstairs and walk a show floor and just have it be nothing but dealers and have only cards as far as my eye could see.
Yeah, the upstairs felt a lot like Dallas to me, just in terms of the organization, the newness and cleanliness feel of it, whereas Nationals kind of, it's like the old hobby that we always know with like the dusty vintage areas and the older building, and it has its charm for sure. I mean, there's way more selection at National. It's a lot bigger. It has its charm. This one to me felt more like Dallas.
Yes. Well, Christine and I will be going to the Dallas card show tomorrow.
Didn't it start today?
It started yesterday. It was VIP day. It was yesterday.
Man, do you think that maybe have a question for it, but I got a lot of feedback from dealers that there wasn't as much buying action at this one. Do you think that's from fatigue of National and then this and then knowing they've got Dallas next week?
Could be. Definitely could be. I did a lot of buying by my standard at this show. So, look, if anybody had a Jokic Prism Gold, I was going to buy it. If anybody had a Jokic 1 of 1, I was going to buy it. Christian McCaffrey, bought 2 Christian McCaffrey cards. Maybe I'll try to put this as gently and politely as possible to the dealers. Maybe you guys need to get cards that I want to buy. And then we can do all types of business. Oh, we also bought a Luka rookie. Christina secured a Luka rookie 1 of 1 at the show from a tremendous dealer who always has a great selection. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, you and I and Christina, if we find something that we need for our PCs, we're going to buy it. Just that there's a large percentage of people at these shows that kind of go based on the action of the market. Like, are we buying now? Are we selling? And the overall feel that I got was sort of like a wait and see kind of vibe. Maybe that's like the NFL season starting. People are nervous. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Also, a lot of dealers seem to be interested in buying.
Yes.
Is that fair? Yeah.
That's 70% comps.
Right. Exactly. Yes. All right.
Before we move on, can I just say thank you to EJ and Jay?
Hey, why don't you come say that to the camera? Come on. I always have to ask for this. Oh, now she's slow rolling. Come on.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Josh. I just
Hello.
want to say thank you to EJ, Jay, and Ryan, and the entire Burbank team for everything they did for Card Ladder and for us. It was a great show, and we appreciate their hospitality.
There you go. Yeah, thanks, guys. It was a great show. I mean, I loved my time at the show. We didn't even have to suffer the waking up early under the protests, the banging of the drum, of the protest drum that other people had to deal with. So,
yeah.
That was another thing that was nice about the show was their start times.
Yeah, start time. Oh, that's such a great point. Starting late, 11 a.m., noon. Awesome. Love that.
That's the SoCal way, man. That's like no one's in a rush over here. Just get there when you can. The noon start was incredible. It was like I could sleep in and get some stuff done in the morning. It's great.
Yeah, and it speaks to having shows in all the different regions of the nation, because people come out who are within driving distance who won't go to the Dallas show or to a Miami show or to a New York show, but if they live in Southern California, they'll come out for this show for a day or two and check it out. And we got to see people and meet people that we didn't get to see and meet at the National even, but who came out to this show because they're based in Southern California. So that was really nice too.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Moving on from the Burbank show. All right, next topic. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 10 comments that I'm just going to read all in a row, Josh. So we can get all the sentiment out there, and then we'll use the combination of those sentiments to launch our own discussion. So DNick the One says, talk about your guys' thoughts on the whole CardPorn, aka Juan fiasco. The Real 27 guy says, lots of people are saying they don't want to hear about CardPorn, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. Mayor Sports Card says, as a show that cited and mentioned CardPorn often each week, you gotta address it. Art Connoisseur says, marry, fuck, kill. Bill Mastro, Juan Garcia, Evan Mathis.
Are we sure that's his name?
No, I'm not. Ballmark Card says, will Jeff Garcia's collectability suffer from the Juan Garcia revelations? Really cool card says, will Topps now make a Juan Garcia card? Paper Street Card says, any non-card porn topic would be fine. Mahomie Card says, please, no card porn garbage. Tasty Card Sandwich says, I'm going to parrot the requests to not talk about card porn. Zero mention would be badass. Shit, sorry. And 23 over Elo says, what would it take to convince you that a game-used jersey is authentic?
Ooh. That's a good topic for the end of this.
Yeah, so lots of stuff here. Maybe I'll bookmark that one, and we can come back to it towards the end. But where do you want to go with? Where do you want to start with the card porn topic?
Well, I have 2 takes I want to fire off. Do you want me to just fire them both off and then let you go?
Well, you had a great sequence of story posts. I don't know if you're going in that direction or not, but yeah.
Well, the story post and then what you and I talked about while we gathered our thoughts before tonight. The first take on my stories was that you should just not give these people attention. Like, you and I are very deliberate about not bringing up names of some of these influencer accounts because we just don't even want to drive any sort of traffic to these sorts of people. And now that CardPorn is dead and the account's deleted, we can kind of have a retroactive discussion about what went down and hopefully learn something from what happened and not make the same mistake next time. And so first, the take is stop hating these people, stop liking them, stop tagging them, stop hiring them to be your influencer of choice for your business or your brand. Stop everything. I know some people are like, oh, I've hated them from the beginning. That's great. You were right. I'm glad. But you also brought a lot of attention to them along the way. And so negative or positive, just stop. And then the follow-up is, this is what happens when you put your faith in influencers. We build them up. They bring all this attention to the hobby, whether it's good or bad. They, it's this positivity that he was pushing, this watchdog thing, and, showing kids breaking, bringing Drake into the hobby, all this stuff. We build it up this is cool. It's going to bring more eyeballs. But they never actually showed us the cards. We never saw the collection. We never saw the actual passion for the space. It was all this just sort of fake facade in front of us of here's how I grow the hobby. And really, the reality of these influencers, they don't care about cards. They don't care about us. They're just using this space and the excitement around it to gain financially for themselves. And so we need to recognize that better and realize if you're not here to collect your own cards and be in the space and engage and participate, what do you're just here to profit off of us. And that's, that's fine. That's your thing. But we as a community just need to ignore it. So those 2 takes kind of weave together at the end, but that's it. Done.
Yeah, man, I love those takes. And the thing that I come back to and I struggle with a lot, Josh, is that there's nothing to prevent the same CardPorn playbook from being run all over again. There's nothing to prevent that except for a mindset or a philosophy that you just laid out, which is let's do our best to uplift and dedicate our precious limited time to supporting fellow collectors, to supporting cards, and not to the extent that we can feed so much into the cloud chasing and the influencer drama. There's a lot. So like, here's one thought that occurred to me when it comes to watchdogs, which are very important. And I'm grateful that we have them. And I'm grateful even for the watchdog efforts that CardPorn did in at least certain situations. I am glad that we have them. I am glad that as new people constantly come into the hobby, that they're able to be made aware of scams and of cons and of risky things that happen. Like, as I turned on cable news for the first time in a long time the other night, and I saw a commercial for a company that is promoting title checks on your house. So apparently there's this big scam going on in housing and real estate that involves con artists and scammers gaining access to your title, to your home, and then taking out loans against it, or even selling your home without you knowing. And so, that's a great example of something that a potential homeowner should know before they own a home. Is that, hey, when you decide to own a home, you're becoming immediately at risk of somebody committing scams using the title to your home without you knowing about it. And then I would use that as a metaphor for in the hobby, there are scams and there are cons that happen that people should be made aware of before they buy cards or items or jerseys or whatever, before they plant roots and become a part of this community. It's so important that that the hobby has people who call attention to these things. So I really respect the role of the watchdog, and I'm really sad that it got bastardized by the CardPorn account, especially because some of the reporting that CardPorn did, whether it was that account or the people who were running it doing the reporting, or they were taking it from blowout, or they were taking it from a good source, there was good information shared. And other watchdogs in the hobby share a lot of good information too. So watchdogs matter, they're important, and the role that they do is important. But here's what's scary, is that who watches the watchdogs? Okay, and I do have, that's not just rhetorical, I have an answer to that. But that's a question that I think has to percolate a little bit. Who watches the watchdogs so that we don't have the CardPorn situation happen again? And I think one of the steps towards watching the watchdogs, and I think just to answer the question, the people who watch the watchdogs are the collectors. So even this story that broke regarding the Jordan jersey and the migrate, and like if people aren't fully up to speed on this stuff, it's not something you can really condense into a small soundbite. Like, you need to go read all of Darren Ravel's reporting on this.
Yep.
That's absolutely essential. I think everybody in the hobby should read it to the extent that they can, and use their own judgment and experience and wisdom to evaluate it for themselves and think about its implications and its repercussions. But going back to that, who watches the watchdogs? Well, in Ravel's very first article about this, he acknowledges that one of the key factors in uncovering the fact that Migray's photo matching of this jersey was dubious was a collector of game-used jerseys from China who made videos pointing out that there are discrepancies between this jersey and video footage of this game. It was that collector. And that guy was, from my understanding of who this guy is, he's just a guy who loves game use jerseys. And he has a passion and an interest and expertise in it. And he went and he looked into it and he found it. That type of effort is just invaluable, because if the collectors out there aren't doing that, if they're not out there taking an interest and being skeptical and watching things carefully, maybe we don't even find out about this. So who watches the watchdogs is something that you have to think about. And it's a deep political topic. Like, it goes back to even like the foundation of societies and the concept of checks and balances, and who's the check on the presidency, who's the check on Congress, who's the check on the court system, and how they all have been set up to be checks on each other. These are really difficult and important questions. But here's one way to put a check on the watchdogs, in my opinion. And here's one way to hopefully prevent the CardPorn playbook from being run again by somebody in the near future. This has been my critique from day one. We can't have anonymous watchdogs.
Mm-hmm.
We can't have it. We can't have anonymous influencers. To the extent that a person is making commentary on topics of interest in the hobby, we need to know all of their potential biases. This has been a point that I've harped for years. I feel even more strongly about it today than I ever did. We need to know what the potential biases are. We need to know who the person is. We need to know what their financial interests are. We need to know what their collecting interests are. We need to know as much as we possibly can about people who are putting themselves out there publicly. Now, if you don't want to be public, you prefer to be a private collector, that's totally fine. But then you're a private collector, okay? But if you're calling people out, policing the hobby, holding people accountable, commenting on ongoing disputes of interest in the hobby, I feel very strongly that we need as much transparency as possible about what the potential interests are among influencers, content creators, and watchdogs.
Yep, well said. Remember the BBCE Pokemon G.I. Joe fiasco?
Oh, yeah.
The same thing. A collector made YouTube videos pointing out the flaws because he's using his experience as a collector to point out like what he's seen with those cases before and what he's looking for and the flaws, right? It was just like some of these collectors have been doing this so long and they've seen these things come up so much they literally know better than the authenticators in a lot of cases.
That's a great point. Something in the Revelations, sort of like a straw broke the camel's back for me as Rovell's reporting continues to come out. And it was the scam that was reported today that I think bothered me more than any of them. And the scam that was reported today was, so Hoodies Collectibles is a shop based in Portland, Oregon. Christina and I have been there. And they sold some cards at auction that an individual who appears to be the same person who runs CardPorn, according to Rovell's reporting and the facts that he laid out, won these two cards worth like $15,000 from Hoodies on eBay. And the package was shipped to him, and then he claimed that the cards didn't arrive, and he filmed himself opening the package, and no cards were in there or whatever. And if you watch, the video is embedded in Rovell's article on this, and it's like creepy to watch it. And so basically, it was alleged that whoever the employee was at Hoodies didn't put the cards in. They stole the cards, and that the cards weren't in there. And the package came sealed, and the cards were gone. And so the person at Hoodies said, well, you know what? I didn't pack the box that way. And it's being opened in a way that suggests to me that this has been repackaged. But so eventually the reason why Rovell was able to include this in his story is because the employee at Hoodies said, hey, I'm seeing all this reporting about CardPorn and this account and everything, and I recognize this name and this address, and let me see if I can connect the dots and see if it's the same person. And Rovell's reporting suggests that it is. And the reason why it bothers me so much, I get the upset, the anger, the concern, the disgust with, the whole thing surrounding the fake foundation website that got deleted and the potential that somebody could have gotten duped into buying $1 million game used jersey. I get that. That's awful. That's heinous. And that by itself is just reprehensible. And it's terrible. But who was going to buy that $1 million jersey? Probably some guy with more money than he knows what to do with. Okay? So sucks, and it's unfortunate. But the one that got revealed today, even though it was only $15,000 worth of stuff, it pisses me off so much more because it put the guy who works at Hoodies who shipped this, who for all I can tell is just a decent guy who's just working at a hobby shop, having a place in the hobby and just trying to work a job, just trying to make an honest living. This guy could have lost his job, could have had his reputation ruined for not just the current employer, but for other people who might want to look to hire him or let him work in the hobby, and have his career ambitions or his plans or his livelihood taken away from him just because somebody on the other end of this transaction wanted to put $15,000 worth of cards in their pocket. That one was just annoyed me so much because you're not stealing now from like a multi-millionaire. Now you're stealing from just a guy who's just trying to pack cards and make a living working at a modest job in the hobby. And I thought about it. Why would this guy reach out to Rovell and tell his story and make his story public? And he must have reached out because people doubted him, because people believed that the fucking video that showed this package not having cards, some people must have believed that was correct, and they didn't believe him. And so then he saw a chance to get vindicated and to make his point and to put it out there to the public, to clear his own name among people who know him, among the place that he works, just so that he could clear his own name. And he had to go through that and the stress of that and the scrutiny that he was facing because some guy wanted to put $15,000 worth of cards in his pocket and walk away. Like, that one is just so fucking heinous to me because it's so inconsiderate to every person involved. It's just it could have. I'm glad that it got caught, and I'm glad that it got exposed. That one really annoyed me.
Dude, the video was so creepy, like you said. Like he as he's pulling the envelopes out, he's like throwing his arms out in disgust that they're empty before he's even fucking opened them. It's like, dude, you already know these are empty. You've already opened this fucking box. Now you're just going through with your high-def camera with perfect lighting over it. Like, whoever opens a box like that? The whole thing was obviously staged.
Yeah, it was. And it just was so creepy, man. It was just so creepy.
It's on the
David, it's on Rovell's most recent article, David.
Yeah. Well, another outcome here that I think will be positive is like the collector, the people that we're talking about, that we're representing here on this show. We as a group are going to have way more scrutiny going forward to some of these blue check big accounts, whether they're anonymous or not. If the basis is like, I'm here to start pointing out everyone else's flaws, we're going to have more scrutiny towards those individuals going forward, just as a defense mechanism based on, getting fucked in this scenario. So I think that'll be good. The collectors have always been untrustworthy bunch towards others. So like, this is just going to raise that level, which is probably a good thing. I don't know. Did you want to touch on the jersey authentication thing? We've always been nervous about this topic. We don't have a lot of experience with it anyways.
Yeah, that's the huge issue here is that when it comes to the jersey authentication thing is definitely one of the biggest questions at the heart of this story. The other big question is who started that, who all was involved in starting the fake Tony Ramsey Foundation. I think that's a huge question that needs to be answered because that's kind of at the crux of the entire scandal revolving around the jersey, and I don't think there's a clear answer as to who did that yet. So I think that's a very important question that answers a lot of other questions, and it lets a lot of other dominoes fall. But in terms of authenticating the jersey, or rather photo matching the jersey, I thought Darren Ravel made an excellent point when he was on the stream with P. Ryan a little while ago, when he pointed out that clearly now we see one part of what's difficult about photo matching jerseys, which is that there's the possibility of doctoring the photographs such that the doctored photographs match the jersey that's seeking to be photo matched. But Ravel went a step further, and he said, well, but there's also a second issue with photo matching that has to be carefully guarded against, which is that you can also doctor a jersey so that the jersey matches the photo, which is also a big concern. That wasn't what was at issue here, but I thought that those were really good points that Ravel made on that stream with P. Ryan.
Just manually smear your own poop on the jersey.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly right.
No, I mean, it's easy for us to like take shots at it because we don't collect it. We've been critical of it for a while, and this is kind of like one of the reasons we're critical of it. It's just is like it's just really, it's much harder to, evaluate this stuff. And so it's just like a riskier game. So you just really got to know what you're doing. And it seems like you just got to go speak to these collectors, like this YouTube commenter in China. You got to like find these people who really know this jersey space, and you have to be way more in tune with the provenance of this stuff. You can't just like go off of some video or photo that someone authenticates. And also, dude, you can fucking look at the metadata of these images, these PNGs and JPEGs that come through. You can look at the metadata and see that it was edited and shit like that. So like, there wasn't enough work done by Migrate, and they've obviously come out and apologized and realized they screwed up. But a lot of this stuff can be covered too.
Yep. No doubt. Yeah, I think that this is also such a fascinating topic to sort of think about, reflect on, and observe how the hobby community deals with this and reacts to it. Like, I wanted to address the question in particular from Mayor Sports Cards, who's like, hey, look, you guys he said we cited and mentioned card porn often every week. No, that's not true, but especially a few years ago, not so much recently, card porn would come in the chat, and card porn would say things in this chat. Card porn reshared probably like a year or two ago, like my little box video of like me showing off some Jordan cards. Like it's really scary, and that was like the thing that I felt first when this story came out, was like just a mix of like shock and fear that an account that honestly like I had come to trust on some level as being well-intentioned, like as caring about things like kids in the hobby, as caring about women in the hobby, as caring about representation in the hobby, as caring about outing fraud and deception and promoting the hobby and so on and so forth. To see like the account just like not even defend itself, but just go away, really shocked me, and it bothered me. And like it was tough, man. And like, I'm still like processing it, Josh, and still thinking about what are this account like captivated the hobby, and the person operating this account, I don't know how many people were operating this account. I don't know if anybody knows that, but one apparently, but Juan has been named as somebody who was operating the account and who was, like, dude, think about this for a second, all right? How many people in the world have the skill and the proficiency to develop a social media account that gets to 6 figures worth of followers and then is taking private flights with highly influential people in the hobby and arranging breaks with one of the most famous celebrities in the world, which was Drake. And, like, dude, Drake and his entourage, like, got in the same room with these people. And it was because, I think, at least in part, the CardPorn account was very savvy. And it was very persuasive and confident and able to make moves and do things at a very high level, and with celebrity at the highest level of the world, and get in rooms with them and make content with them and do things with them. This was not like an ordinary person. This was a clever person. It turns out very much looking like a conniving person. This was somebody who was operating at a high level. And it's a blow, man. Like, I just have to call it how I see it. Like, dude, it's a blow that the most followed and engaged with watchdog account on all of social media turned out to be implicated in a scam involving a jersey, and then deleting everything from the internet hours and days after. That's a fucking blow, man. There's really no other way to, it ain't looking good.
Well, here's a win. I don't have to say porn as often. Like, just having to say porn in that dude's name always bothered me so much. And he's like posting all this kids giveaway stuff with porn all over. It's just like, I'm glad that shit's over. Oh, that was our first red flag, dude. Putting the word porn in your name is like, come on, man. You're just like, clearly you put that in your name just to get more, hits on the searches. Come on. Gross. Food porn, card porn, buying the blue check. We saw him buying the followers. We caught that early. So, I mean, the red flags were there a bit, but you're right. Still, it's crazy. He was able to get up to 112,000 followers.
Dude. Yeah, and like, there's no option. Like the psychological effect of this for all of us who have like sort of survived and gone through this moment in the hobby history and like witnessed it, is that our level of skepticism is always going to be higher, even on a subconscious level. The ability to forge trust in this community just became a lot more difficult.
Yeah,
which is probably a good. Which is on one level is a good thing.
It's okay. We should be more personable as people. We should be meeting each other before we trust, and we shouldn't be handing out addresses and sending, friends and family. We should be doing more of that stuff anyways. And now it's like, yeah, I'm not sending you Venmo because you might be the next CP account. I'm not even going to say it anymore. I'm so done saying their name. I've seen scams go down. I need to know who you are more and trust you more. Let's use PayPal goods and services, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And this is why I hate to say this. I hate to be the bad guy here. I'm always dubious to kids giveaways, foundations. They're usually rooted in a selfish financial reason at the back. So if you see giveaways and that kind of stuff, like, I've never partaken in doing those. I love, being generous, giving my time. I would love to be more generous with free things, but it just always, to me, gives off this vibe of like, you're doing this for a selfish reason. It's the more of a front you try to put up, the more I think you're trying to actually hide, Yeah.
Yep. That's a great point, man.
Which sucks because the people that genuinely want to do giveaways and donate their time and money to good foundations and things have to now deal with that,
Yeah. That's some of the other ramifications of this that I think about, is that, like, it's going to be hard. It's going to be harder from here on out to be a watchdog with the cloud of the most omnipresent watchdog we've ever had, in my experience, going up in flames.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot harder for future watchdogs to gain the trust of the community. It's just, it's tough, man. And all right, I think we've beaten I don't really have anything else to add at this time. I mean, I don't think this topic just disappears after a week either. I think there's going to continue to be more revelations. But do you have anything else you want to add at this point? Nope. All right. Sorry for those who didn't want to hear about the topic, but like it's too impactful to the hobby community, and it has too many implications that trickle down even to aspects of collecting, like doing deals and trusting people and stuff that it probably needed to be discussed. But all right, now we've got some like tangential things here. Pac Nicholson says, what will happen once the hobby influencers finally get it? I admire their constant pursuit to get it, but what happens once it is finally got?
Then a new influencer will come in and they won't get it. It'll always just an endless cycle. They're like on an escalator. I'm picturing like a meme of like a bunch of dudes in suits going up an escalator. They're just gonna keep coming.
What does it mean to get it? What does that mean?
I think he's saying like, you know, you can kind of tell when they're an influencer, they don't know the space either because they're new or they're like trying to sell us on stuff that we don't actually care about. And it is like, come on, we're just here to collect cards. Like that's not actually how it works. You know, it's not necessarily what you're saying. It's more simple than that. It's just buying cards we like.
So is it even possible to be a full-blown influencer and get it? Or does getting it almost mean like you don't try to be an influencer, you just instead...
Yeah. It's probably that. It's probably the meta of like, stop trying.
Yeah. All right. Art Connoisseur says, will collectors reemerge as leaders of the hobby instead of influencers pretending to be collectors?
I don't know how many years in a row I have to call this the year of the collector, you know, like the comeback or whatever you want to call it. Like how many more events need to happen for that claim to be justified?
Right. That's a good question. Probably just forever, I guess. I don't know. This is just like there's always going to be a blueprint to make an account that's sort of centered around call outs and drama and watchdog material, and it's going to collect a lot of followers eventually and get a lot of engagement. It's just natural to people that they're going to gravitate and talk about that stuff and be fascinated by it. I think it's also natural to the way that social media is structured, that influencer style content, like the reels, man. Like,
yep.
I'll send you screenshots throughout the week of like a reel of one influencer or another who's just always at the top of my feed. And it's like, I can't get it out, right? Yeah, I can't. It's always there. So
yeah. Instagram really favors those accounts as well, and they just keep pushing it to you. And the people who do the reels and stuff, they just get pushed to the top on your feed, whether you like it or not. And we've even joked about like how we've reported it as spam, and we still get them.
Yeah, exactly. There's just no break. There's no overcoming that. And so like when the system, when the structure, when the incentives are lined up to facilitate and encourage that content,
yeah,
it's going to keep coming.
Just I would encourage you to use the tools of Instagram called unfollow and block. They are very powerful and they work. Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Stop following these accounts. If you feel that they've got 112,000 and your -1 can help, unfollow. It's okay. We'll go on without them aggregating watchdog content they stole from Blowout. We'll see it somewhere else.
There's a topic here. I like that. Okay. I got it.
He's got the timing down. Nick's got like he waits for us to like pause and giggle and move on, and then he drops it just the right time.
Yeah, he does. Okay, all right. This question like stunned me a little bit because it's so opposite of how I felt a few years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. But now, like, I think I agree with where this question is leading. Doc Collects Cards says, would the hobby be less annoying if it didn't have social media?
Would the hobby be less annoying if it didn't have social media? Yes, but it would also be less fun, right? It would just be less of all the sensations.
It would. Like, dude, there was a golden era, I think, that I didn't realize we were in, and it ended at some point. But there was a golden era of collecting on social media when there wasn't, honestly, just like there were no podcasts, or there were very few podcasts. There were no influencers. There was no content. It was just kind of like cards being posted, group chats forming. It was like the primordial soup of the hobby content landscape. Not the big bang hadn't happened yet. Like, we hadn't set into action all the things that would eventually lead us to the point that we are at today. But yeah, I get the sentiment about this. Like, dude, social media, it's getting tougher and tougher to navigate it in the hobby, in an agreeable fashion. But like, to your point, you can curate your experience to a high level, and at the end of the day, dude, I still love posting my mail days. I still love posting my cards. I love writing 8 paragraphs that nobody's ever going to read. I love putting my grading returns to my story. I still love doing all that stuff. You know, it's as fun as it's ever been.
It's funny because like there's sort of this like groundswell of people pushing back against social media. You know, like where we're seeing this data come out where like teenagers are having anxiety issues because of it, and like we're seeing the negative effects long term of social media start to come out in research studies. But still, we're like, yeah, but I'm still gonna like scroll my feed every day. Like, we still want it. It's still enjoyable. Like, it gives us good feelings, and we want to keep going after it. So it's not gonna. It's the toothpaste is out of the tube.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, that's good too. Okay. All right. We had to get to this topic.
R.I.P. Clubhouse, real quick. Yamwax. Is it dead?
No, there was a vibrant room going on. Here's look. All right, let me just give like a 30 seconds.
There's no more rooms.
No, they're able to. You're able to make a room, but you have to like jump through hoops to do it, and you can only see it if you're friends or friends of friends with people who are in it.
I love how these guys keep saying how horrible and brutal everything is in the tech world, and they're going to come in and fix it for us, and then they make it more brutal. So how does that work?
I know. So, little known fact is one of my biggest pet peeves is voice memos.
What?
Because why would you, like, it's the voice memo is the person saving themselves the time of typing it to speak it, but making me take 3 times as long to listen to it when they could have just typed it and I could read it much more quickly. So that's why voice memos are a giant pet peeve for me. And here's what they did with Clubhouse. Clubhouse once was like this amazing, well, let's not get carried away here. It was this cool place where you could just go and join these group discussions, but it's audio. So like it's live, it's like a CB radio. That's the best way I can describe it. It's an app that was a CB radio of people, but all over the world talking about stuff, and like a community of card people formed on there. Well, guess what? Clubhouse decided that they're going to reorient their app to be focused on voice memos and people sending voice memos to each other back and forth. No, you can't even text. They took away the ability to send DMs. It's just like the whole concept of the app now is like, I'll log in and I'll record a voice memo. Then you'll log in and see it, listen to mine, and then put your voice memo, and then we'll just go back and forth with voice memos until we reach nirvana. So that's possibly the worst idea in the history of social media.
Well, let me just say, there's not people that work at Clubhouse out at card shows seeing what customers want from their apps. Let's just put it that way. They're in boardroom. They're busting out giant whiteboards, and they're trying to figure out how to tell them what people what to do.
Right. So, yeah, all right. So, okay. Great topic here that we need to touch on. Bruin Killer says, the NFL is back.
Finally.
How excited are you? How excited are you, Josh?
I'm a 10 out of 10. It's unbelievably. You know what it is, though? It's because the NFL just drops the perfect time where I'm like, oh my God, I've had 3 months of nothing. It's hot as hell outside. The summer's dragging on. Baseball is still going. immersive, still somehow going. It's like, you know what? I could see you're down. Here you go. Here's NFL. Here's fantasy. Here's, the defending champs. Here's, all the drama. Here's Aaron Rodgers. Here's Hard Knocks. And it's like, just give it to me, all of it. I want it all. Here's Red Zone. Dude, Sunday, I'm going to be watching Red Zone for 7 hours. I'm going to watch the night game. I'm going to watch Monday Night Football. I watched the game last night. I'm staring at my fantasy lineups. I want it all. Let's go.
Nice, dude. Yeah, you are loving this. Hey, so there was like this question going around social media, which was if somebody offered you $15,000, but you could not watch any NFL all season or playoffs, would you do it? And you said no.
Yeah. My number is $100,000. If someone was like, I'll give you $99,000, but you can't consume any NFL content until next season, I'd be like, I'm good.
Oh my God. Well, that's incredible. I'm over here like clenching a little bit because I've got to pay about like $450 to be able to watch every 49ers game and get Red Zone.
David says 100K too.
Yeah. So.
Dude, Red Zone or bust. Just come over to the dark side. You don't need all these games. Just Red Zone.
Dude, I do need the games. I do. I love zooming in on the games. I do. I need the Niners games.
Even watching that game last night was good, and I can watch the whole NFL game. I enjoy it, but I'm like, oh my gosh, go to the next game. This is a freaking timeout. I gotta watch their punter. The fake punt was cool, but I'm like, do I gotta watch this guy kick the ball? Go to the next game. Where's Hansen? Let's go.
Dude, 100K is a very, very popular answer. Dude, you know what, man? Can I just say something about that Thursday night game? That game was weird. That game was out of an alternative universe. That game was creepy. That's a game where, like, Mahomes is down 1. He has the ball towards the end of the fourth quarter. He marches down and he wins that game.
He did, but the guy didn't catch the ball.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. This is like it was like out of an alternative universe. That the game goes that way like 1 out of 100 times.
Yeah.
Where that's what happens. And the Chiefs' defense was great, which was odd. And then they held the Lions to like 14 points. And then like you just have like we're in like we slipped into a parallel universe where like CardPorn account gets shut down. Lions are beating the Chiefs on opening night.
Kelsey missed his first game due to injury.
Kelsey misses a game. I know. Yeah, something.
Dude, but you're hitting on why the NFL is so amazing because if you listen to enough podcasts and content about the NFL, every single team in the NFL is going 11-6 this year, except for like the bottom 2 teams. Every team has unbelievable optimism. I heard several podcasts saying the Lions are going to be the best offense in the NFL, and they couldn't even score 3 touchdowns against the Chiefs, who are not the best defense. Like they're okay, right? And they have their best defensive player on their team playing. So like anything can happen in the NFL. You never know. You just got to watch. That's why people watch these games. People thought the Bills were going to roll through the playoffs. They got stomped by the Bengals. They look like complete trash. So now everyone's down the Bills. They might have a recovery. They've got Josh Allen. You never know. There's so many. Would you be surprised if the Jets went 5-12 or 12-5?
Either way, I could see both.
Me too. Neither would surprise me at all.
Now, what about? All right. So speaking of like predictions, everybody that I listen to lately is like predicting the Steelers to win their division, if not the AFC. Can we talk about that?
You're listening to a lot of Bill Simmons, I guess. He's picked them to like go to the Super Bowl.
Come on, man. And the Steelers, what are we doing here?
He is so funny because he'll be like, I love this team. They're so good. I can't get there because they've got Kirk Cousins or they've got Daniel Jones. But for some reason it works with Kenny Pickett. Like, make up your mind. Is it the team or is it the quarterback or what is it?
Yep.
Well, let's do the picks.
Yeah.
There's a question for us.
Right. So Tito Raiders wants to know Super Bowl picks.
Okay. Let me think about the NFC. I've got my AFC team, which you already know, because I'm just all in on the quarterback this year. I don't even care.
Okay. You're going with the Bolt?
I'm going with the Chargers. I don't think they're actually, like, if I had to actually bet on it, I wouldn't. But this is not the point of this exercise. For some reason, I'm enamored with the Chargers this year. I think it feels like it's coming together for them. So I'm rooting for the Chargers. NFC. I'll go Eagles. I think they've got revenge on their minds. I think they were so close to winning it. They could have won that. If they played that game 10 times, they might have won it 6. It felt like they were the better team for a lot of that game, and they rolled through the rest of the league during the regular season. Their schedule is tougher this year, but I think they're motivated.
Those are good takes. This is such a ridiculous exercise because I haven't even seen 30 of the 32 teams play.
That's the fun part.
Oh, I hate that. Okay, but all right, here, I'll give mine really quick. From what I did see on Thursday night, the Chiefs looked incredible. All right, their defense was rock solid. They gave up 14 points to the supposed great offense in the Lions. I thought Mahomes was moving and throwing as well as he ever has. He made some incredible plays with his legs and with his arm. If you don't have that fluke ball like bounce off Tony's, the shoulder pad or mask and turn into a pick six, I mean, the Chiefs and some of the drops were just – the Chiefs could have won that game by 2 or 3 scores.
There's so many drops.
So I thought the Chiefs looked really good once Kelsey gets back in there. I like the Chiefs to come out the AFC. They're the only team I've watched, but, man, they look so good still. And then although that offensive lineman, he's not going to be able to get away. That number 74, he's not going to be able to get away with starting that far back and jumping early every time. They're going to be on his ass.
I was texting my friend. I was like, this dude false starts every fucking play. Why is Campbell not screaming at the refs? Like, look at this guy. He's 4 feet back, and he jumps every time.
Yeah, I know. And that was – and, like, Aiden Hutchinson was dude, that dude was putting in work, man. Okay.
He had no sacks. He had no sacks, but he felt like he was in every play.
He did. Yeah, it did. It really did. And then from the NFC, just give me my Niners. I'm going to be rooting for them. Let's not make this complicated. Give me the Niners.
Won an all red rematch from 3 years ago.
All red, bloody red rematch. And you know what? They just re-signed Bosa. Come on, that was huge. All right.
What about a fun young team you're rooting for, or player, or quarterback, or something? Some like storyline that you like.
Do you have one on the top of your mind?
The Chargers. Yeah. I'm obviously interested in this Jets thing. It's how can you not be? The Packers without Rodgers. I love this Lions storyline of like they somehow have hype now, even though they didn't even make the playoffs last year, but people are super excited about them. I think that's a fun storyline. They need to play Jahmyr Gibbs more. That guy's good. He's on my fantasy team in another league, so I'm biased. But like every time that dude touched the ball, it was like danger for the Chiefs. Like they got to figure out how to catch him. Montgomery's just running into walls. The Bears, that'll be fun.
Here's a storyline I like. I like that. Yeah, all good. I like the Rams as a storyline. These guys won the Super Bowl 2 years ago, and last year they obviously were decimated by injuries, especially at the quarterback position. Well, Stafford's supposed to be back. Donald is back. McVay's still the coach, but people are like putting them in the bottom 5 of power rankings. I'm just like, what happened? Is this team like radically different than the team that won the Super Bowl? I guess with Kupp getting injured, that's unfortunate. You and I both have Kupp on a fantasy team in at least one of our leagues, so that's unfortunate. But I'm interested in the Rams. I want to see if like they're rightfully being shaded by everybody, or if they still have that championship pedigree.
It's just funny that we do it, everyone does it. You just sort of like go off of what you saw last year. But in the NFL, we always know there's a last place team that goes to first. There's a first place team that crashes and burns. This Rams won the Super Bowl, and then they won 5 games last year or whatever it was. And now they're dead. And there's going to be a team this year, we know it, that's like everyone's picking them to get last, but they're going to get first. And then as they're rolling through the season, we're like, oh, I saw the signs early. I knew it. Like we knew this team was going to be good. They've got a new coach, or whatever the reason is. It's every year.
Yeah. All right. Another sports-related topic that came up. I'll just read all 3 questions here quickly. Hoops Hobby asks, is it time to sell my Sorry?
Team USA or something?
Yeah, exactly. Is it time to sell my stash of Daniel Tice cards? What about my Dennis Schroeders? Townie Card says, what are your thoughts on the FIBA finals matchup and why? And by the way, that matchup is Germany versus Serbia. And then why does Team USA struggle in FIBA play. And Ross Labs and Wax says, let's discuss Serbia in the World Cup Finals without Nikola Jokic. He is so overrated.
God, it's so annoying watching Team USA be clearly have way more talent than their team and still lose these games. It makes no sense. Their defense is horrible. I mean, it's like also like their C and D squad, to be fair. You know, like if you listed out the top 10 American players, none of them are on this team. Anthony Edwards is like the 13th best American player in the world or whatever. So there's that. I don't know, man. I like FIBA. I think it's more. I think it's fun to watch. But they'll probably roll out their best dudes in the Olympics and do well. But I mean, these other countries are good too.
All right, sound the alarm. Sound the alarm. I'm going to give a very unpopular take.
I hate this thing.
Sound the alarm and prepare the mob. Prepare the pitchforks. I'm about to do something very unpatriotic.
Give me your driver's license. You're out of here.
I'm about to be deported. All right.
Team USA.
Here's the thing. Okay. Here's the thing. That is not that Team USA. All right. If you add up all the salaries on Team USA, so you got Anthony Edwards, Tyrese Halliburton, Jaren Jackson Jr., Jalen Brunson, Austin Reeves, Brandon Ingram, dude, those salaries would be way over the NBA salary cap. Way over. So you are talking about a team, if that team was in the NBA, they would be the overwhelming favorites to win because they are so talented from the top of the roster all the way down to the bench. And you could never afford that team. That team would be multiples over the salary cap. That team lost to Lithuania, or who was the first team they lost to? I think it was Lithuania.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Which had one NBA player. If you did the salary cap of Lithuania, they would be 10% of an NBA salary cap. So 20% because of Valanciunas. So they lost to Lithuania, and then they lost to Germany, which has some NBA players on it. But again, they wouldn't even be close to the NBA salary cap based on what the people who play basketball on those teams earn. But based on what we saw in this tournament, Germany for sure would be an outright contender to win the NBA championship as soon as that team entered the NBA. Lithuania, I don't know. They seem pretty good, but their win might have been a little more flukish. So at some point, that guy who made the comments about the world championship and everybody killed him for it, dude, if Germany was in the NBA, they would have a good shot, as good of a shot as any team in the NBA in winning the championship, and their salary cap would be a fraction of the other teams. So I am concerned heavily about the state of basketball in the United States. I'm concerned about the NBA product and what it's going to do to incorporate the burgeoning world talent scene, because there are guys out there who make pennies who are beating our max players in world competition. So I think the future, now I'm going to go really off the rails. I think the future of the NBA needs to be international. And if it were up to me, I would have half a dozen teams in Europe, half a dozen teams in Asia, and the rest of the teams in the United States. And then I would have 3 cores of teams traveling to the different regions for a month at a time. So you would go play the teams in Europe for a month, you go play the teams in Asia for a month, and then you'd be at home for 2 months. And I would just have the teams rotate through that way and institute the first truly global sports league. Basketball is the sport that's most ready to do this. It's the sport that has the most parity across different nations, across different continents. I would also put, let me not forget Africa either. So that continent honestly should get 6 teams as well. So you should have Africa-based teams, Europe-based teams, and Asia-based teams.
Well, why is
and then have American-based teams.
Why is Daniel Tice struggling in the NBA and Jokic is not?
I mean, I think it's underrated a bit how difficult it is for guys from overseas to gain the respect of a locker room, to be trusted in key situations, to have the chemistry with their teammates when they don't even speak the same language or they barely do. I think that the impact of that is understated. I think some guys just have the ability to transcend it, but I think a lot of the internet, like Dennis Schroeder is a great example, who, clashes and struggles with people, but dude, he might win MVP of this tournament.
Yeah, but he clashes with Germans too. Look what he did to Max.
He does. He does.
Like he clashed with his coach during the last game or the game. Like he's a dickwad.
Yeah. No.
So your take is that these guys aren't getting enough opportunity?
I wouldn't even. It's not opportunity. It's just that it's a very rare person that can go into a foreign country, a foreign culture, acclimate immediately, because on the NBA stage, you need to be great right away, or you're on the back burner. It's so difficult to do that. I just think that I think that's a big factor here. But and I also think there's differences in the formats of the games, and I also think the difference between the 200th best basketball player in the world and the 1000th best basketball player in the world is very small. It's very small. It's so small that something like being from a foreign country, not really knowing how to play the American brand of basketball, not really knowing how to fit in and get the respect of your teammates, I think that's enough. That by itself is enough to knock somebody, down from 200 to 1,000, because the margin is so small.
Yeah, I don't like this take.
Yeah. I don't expect anybody to like this take. That's why I trumpeted it.
Americans, the gap is definitely closing. The top 5 players, I think 4 of them are international. So that's not the part I have an issue with. If these guys were good, they'd be dominating the NBA. Why aren't they dominating the NBA? What's the difference? It's basketball, man. These guys are already they're traveling leagues all over the place. They're already used to traveling. They get here. The issue to me more is these USA guys just don't give a shit about these tournaments. They just don't care. And these international teams really want to beat us. They want to be on ESPN and SportsCenter, and they want to be on YouTube highlights beating us. And they just have way more incentive to do so. And our team's whatever. We make $40 million. We're going to go home on our private jets. Who gives a shit?
Come on. Your take is the internationals got that dog in them?
Hell yeah, man. Your take is that these guys are already better and they're just not better when they play in the NBA?
Yes.
What's the difference?
Because you can see, dude, the U.S. is so much larger than Germany. It's so much larger than Serbia or Lithuania. Some of these countries are a 10th of the size of the U.S., and they're still beating them.
So you think Dennis Schroeder is better than Tyrese Halliburton?
No, not even.
We can go down the line, and we'll show you all the stats. USA players are better at every fucking position, and they still lose. So what's the difference?
I don't know, man. I mean, I think the difference is partially cultural, but I don't know. I don't have a good answer for it. That's the best I could come up with. I give some credence to the thought, too, that, I just don't want to give USA the excuse of, we're so much better than everybody else, we just don't try as hard.
You think we have too many good players? These guys don't know how to fit together. They don't know, they don't know the roles. They're all trying to score. Nobody's, filling the role of, rebounding and, you know what I mean? It's not a good team construction. There's too many alphas on the team.
Yeah, I think so. I think, not to hate on my boy Jalen Brunson, but he was a minus 19 today in a game that they lost. Yeah.
I just Steve Kerr is a moron. I don't understand how he's not starting Halliburton. Halliburton is the reason they win the games they win. Fucking put in Halliburton as a starting lineup, you dummy.
I know, dude. That was my prediction from early on, was that Halliburton would eventually take Brunson's minutes, and he never did.
I told you that they weren't, because they wanted this leadership thing from Brunson, because he's a little bit older, and this Villanova thing, which is okay, are you trying to win the games or do you want leadership?
Yeah, it's a good point. It's sheesh. Yeah, that's. I don't know, but I congratulate Team USA because a few years ago they finished 7th on a team that had Jason Tatum and Donovan Mitchell. So now the worst they can get is 4th. So.
Who are the top 10 players from the United States? Would any of them be in this team?
The top 10 players from the United States would have to be LeBron, Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Jason Tatum, none of which are on the team.
Kawhi.
Jimmy Butler, Kawhi Leonard.
You can keep going. Paul George. That's like,
Paul George.
Edwards, maybe.
Yeah.
But Edwards he has no playoff experience.
Yeah, very little. Very little. And he was really good, especially in the bigger games.
I think it's the dog. These rich dudes don't care about these stupid FIBA tournaments. Why are they even there?
Well, team building and chemistry opportunities can arise in that situation, but I'm not going to deny the credit to Germany for winning that game. But the thing is that this is like the NFL playoffs, or March Madness.
Yeah. One
game and you're done. And a lot of variance can happen in one game, but I don't think the talent gap is that big.
Yeah.
I think
I don't either.
Yeah, I think it's actually pretty small.
And USA shot 58% in that game and they lost.
Well, I mean, I saw Kurt Goldsberry point out that this was the most points they've ever given up in an international game. It was 113 points. So, yeah, but I mean, the Olympics will be a different story, I think, as it should be. I mean, the United States is 360 million people, so it should be countries that have 2 million people, like Slovenia. But if you let Europe put together a 360 million conglomerate of Greece, Serbia, and Germany, that team would be right there with Team USA.
We're not going to shit on Canada. I heard so much hype about Team Canada, about how they're going to do this and that, and then they lose to Serbia without Jokic.
Without Jokic, yeah.
SGA stuff.
Yeah, I was told SGA was the best player in the tournament.
Yep, I heard that. Bill Simmons literally on his pod was like, I can't wait to watch USA versus Canada final. Dude, are you serious? They both didn't even make the game, dummy.
He can watch the bronze medal game because that's what it's going to be. Look, Canada though, okay, so this is to your point that I'm kind of thinking about here is Dylan Brooks has been really good in international play. He's been way better in international play than he is in NBA. And maybe it's something about the format. Maybe it's just him wanting it more in this setting. But Dylan Brooks has impressed me. Nickeil Alexander-Walker has impressed me. Dwight Powell is somehow not terrible.
I don't know how much to say about the style of play in the NBA versus this, whether these players are struggling with it. But a lot of these international dudes that play in the NBA don't seem to have any problems going back and forth between the two styles,
It's true. It's true. And I don't know, man. And so the Serbia thing is really interesting too. I haven't watched Serbia play a single game, but Serbia has 2 NBA players who are not playing, Jokic and another guy who just signed with Oklahoma City in the offseason. And what I would say is this: you want to see some spin? You want to see a huge spin here? Some big spin zone time. The fact that Serbia is this good without Jokic only shows the level of competition that he came from, and how good he must be from having played with that competition and from coming from this stock of players and still rising above them. So, is it that he's overrated, or is it that this area of the world is underrated?
Yeah.
And that these guys over there can play basketball pretty well.
You've seen that video where they are asking Jokic in a press conference, are you worried about the road crowd or something? He's like, what? He was confused by it. He's like, dude, I played in Serbia. And they cut to the Serbia fans just looking like a soccer match that you can't even hear.
Yeah, but that's if you're Jokic, how pissed are you right now that you didn't just go do this?
My take is just like Americans are entitled babies and they deserve this.
Yeah, fair.
Like
fair.
the whole chatter, at least from like what I get from Simmons' podcast from the last NBA season, was like players resting. Nobody gives a shit about regular season. You know, like we're arguing about contracts. You know, maybe I'm becoming my dad, where I just bitch about everyone's contracts and how much money they make. Like it's becoming that.
Oh no, please bitch about that. Money is worthless. That's my.
It's just like it's like I need 40 million, and also I might not play this year. It's like what?
Let's go. Yeah. You know what else though? Like one thing that to come out of this tournament was, I think, some validation of how good Anthony Edwards is. Another thing to come out of this tournament was like validation of Austin Reeves, who like to me seemed to be kind of like a fluke towards the end of last season, but then he's playing with a talented Team USA and he's kicking butt. Jalen Brunson.
Reeves and Halliburton are the winners. The losers are Brunson and Ingram.
Oh yeah, Ingram too. Yeah.
He didn't even play. He didn't even play.
Wow. Oh my dude.
He did not play.
He didn't get in the game at all?
No. 0 minutes.
Damn.
Wah. Because it's just like, I don't know why he didn't have the balls to do that with Brunson and Halliburton. Like he's like, okay, Reeves, you're in over Ingram. You're playing more minutes. You know, you're closing. I don't know why he didn't do that with Halliburton.
Well, all right. Bronze medal game coming up shortly. USA for everybody who wanted to see USA versus Canada, you still get to see it.
I will not be watching. Too angry.
For the goal. And dude, how unfortunate that FIBA's title game is on the first NFL Sunday. I mean, nobody's gonna watch.
It's before the kickoff, but yeah, it's early. It's like an early game.
Yeah, I'll do my best to watch it.
I'll be watching like injury reports of NFL before I watch that fucking game.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's go on to some more questions here.
Thompson was not good. What a terrible comment from the chat.
We'll forgive you. Okay. 1956 Tops guy says the role of aesthetics versus rarity in pricing and value to you guys as collectors. Aesthetics versus rarity.
Like, which is more important?
Yeah, I think so.
Probably rarity. Because there's a lot of cards that are nice looking, but I just like have to start with how rare is it, and then I'll from there weed down to which ones look better.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. Even though aesthetics matters a lot, if to like make the distinction really clear, if you have a beautiful card that has 1 million copies versus you have an ugly card that has 1, I would rather have the ugly card with 1 than the beautiful one with 1 million.
Would you rather have the starting 5 MJ or the Lightning Thunder card, whatever that thing's called?
That's a good one, because are we assuming that the value is equal?
We're assuming I'm going to give you one and you get to keep it.
I would take the starting 5, assuming it's authentic.
There you go. See?
Yeah.
That's like the ugliest, lowest. That's like the perfect example of like the ugliest, lowest printed card that you're like, I want it because there's only 5 and, you know, I want it.
Yeah. Okay. 626 Sports Card says, are rookie cards overrated?
Overrated?
Yeah.
Is this like a Pareto thing?
I don't know.
I don't think they're overrated. No.
Yeah, I'm gonna go the complete opposite way. Even though I get what he's asking, I think the point of this question is kind of like, hey, there are some really great non-rookie cards out there, which there are. Definitely the vast majority of my collection is non-rookie cards, but I think rookie cards are underrated. I think that certain like brands, like as I've studied the rookie offerings of some of the players that I PC, there's like okay, I'll just give an example. I did not win this card, but a Jokic Clear Vision gold out of 10, and like Clear Vision was like a mid to higher end product in 2015 when it came out. This brand no longer exists. A gold out of 10 went for $800 raw. It had like some surface issues and stuff. It went for $800 raw on eBay. And I didn't bid on it because I'm like, I don't really believe in this brand, you know, like, but dude, that's a rookie card that's a gold out of 10 that went for $800 raw. Like, that's underrated. Like, maybe it should be underrated. Maybe that's true. It should be underrated because like it's this brand that became defunct. But like I think every player that has like a wide offering of rookie cards, like with like a few dozen brands worth of rookie cards, there's gonna be like these brands that have these really cool looking or good cards or rare cards that those brands became defunct and nobody cares about them anymore. I think those cards are genuinely underrated, but they might always be underrated. They might be underrated for a reason.
I just feel like every year that goes by, we get the question of like, is PSA 10 overrated? Is, you know, rookie cards overrated? And it just continues. Like, it just kind of keeps getting more valuable and people care more about it. Yet, whenever it's because it's like, you know, it's like shitting on pop music. The more popular something gets, the more we're like, ugh, that sucks. You know, it's overrated.
Yeah, that's so true. Okay. JGP45 says, are pre-release bounties good for the hobby? To me, it promotes gambling more so than collecting.
I like the way that the Magic did it, because it was like, it wasn't gambling because it wasn't really like expensive enough to constitute gambling. It was more of like a fun Willy Wonka golden ticket chase. So it kind of depends on how they structure it. Whereas if it's like this, you know, it's coming out of, you know, immaculate or flawless for National Treasures, where like the entry point is so severe that it basically has to be gambling. I don't know. It depends on how you structure it.
Right on. Yeah. So to Jose's point, pre-release bounties like absolutely introduce a lottery ticket aspect to opening boxes. So like when you know that one of the big retail offers of card products is offering $500,000 for Zion's Logo Man RPA rookie. So I didn't need to say rookie there because that's already the R in RPA. For Zion's Logo Man RPA from NT, like, you know that every box you open potentially has a $500,000 lottery ticket in it.
Yeah.
Winning lottery ticket. Okay. So it absolutely converts these items into like clearly defined lottery tickets. But I think that's cool. I think that that's neat that you can clearly lay out for somebody like, hey, like, yeah, the odds of you hitting this are 0, but you can open this box and have a very infinitesimal chance at hitting a $500,000 card. Like, there's just something kind of neat about that. And then, you know what? Guess what? If you don't get the card that you're looking for, you still might end up with some cool cards that you might like. You might learn a thing or two about the product and so on and so forth. But with having me said something nice about it, now let me say something critical of it, which is like, these are almost transparently obvious marketing ploys that are used to make sure that this product moves.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's playing on people's desire to, as the question asks, gamble, to play a game of chance that could result in a big return, but oftentimes going to result in losing money. So yes, this is a pretty transparent chance to to market this product, to get the product to sell, and almost everybody who takes them up on it's going to end up losing money probably.
I used to try to explain to people, and it just always used to bother me just how much people would gamble at Vegas. And, you know, when I'd see people sports gambling, it's like, you know, you're going to lose, right? Like, Vegas keeps putting up new buildings, you know, like, they're not doing that because you're winning. You will lose. But I just, you know, everyone loves it so much and they love gambling that, you know, can't really stop it. It's such a huge industry now, and sports betting is going to be unbelievable on Sunday. Like, these people are going to make and lose and win, and these companies are going to make so much money that it's almost like powering the world at this point.
Well, yeah, I mean, dude, my understanding was everybody on Thursday night was betting the over because you have these two powerhouse offenses.
Yeah, 21 to 20. And then, like, all the people like, I bet on the Lions money line. I told you guys, like, yeah, you were a 1 pick 6 away from being completely wrong, bro.
Yes. All right. Love those gambling tickets posted after the outcome.
Yes. And not the other 7 you lost the night before on golf and women's water polo.
Yeah. Okay. Frozen Inferno Collectible says, please discuss Kimmy melting Instagram with his PC onslaught. So, let me just jump in and say something really quick here. I was when he was first rolling it out, I was like, oh, okay, this is cool,
Say it.
Dude, it is beyond epic. This is one of the greatest collections ever. This collection is crazy, and it's still going every day. It's still going. It's so good. It's definitely one of the greatest collections ever. I am won over. It's incredible.
You were like, he's blowing his load too quick. He's posting them too fast. This is going to be 3 days. And I was like, Chris, I've seen some of this guy's stuff. I know what's coming. Just no, that's not right. Just watch. And it's been like a month and a half of just 10 cards a day. Absolute bangers.
These are just the most recent 6 he posted. Okay, just LeBron exquisite patch autos and okay.
So this guy's name is Kimmy. He comes from the Hobby Kings days, which predates Blowout. So in the 2000s era, there was a bunch of guys competing over collecting sets from Exquisite. Kimmy, you've got Jim from Puerto Rico. We've seen his stuff come out prior to this. Tim, Exquisite Collector. I made a joke. Timmy, Jimmy, Kimmy. Hilarious. Those 3 guys battling out. There was others then Nat gets involved. Bob Amtrak's competing over stuff. We've got these accounts where these people were just buying anything and everything with little competition relative to today in those 2000s range, and they were just buying everything, trying to complete sets. Mr. B, he's collecting all of this stuff too. He has similar cards, and they just they came back into this space in the last couple of years, and they're all just kind of going at their own pace. And Kimmy's probably the last one to be converted to post all of his stuff on Instagram, and here it is.
Dude, I just scrolled down and just this is a LeBron and Tracy McGrady exquisite dual logo man autograph 1 of 1. Dude, this would be the best card in pretty much any collection.
Yeah, it's so much that you just get numb to it. You're like, oh, there's another dual logo man auto of LeBron. Who cares? What's he gonna post tomorrow? It's just so numbing.
Here's a Kevin Durant and Kevin Garnett dual logo man. I mean, it's just it never ends. It never ends.
And what do you think about them all being raw? I've seen some takes on this, but curious to yours.
Dude, I'm just gonna fire off another unpopular opinion. I hate it.
I do too, but what was he supposed to do?
No, I totally get it. Somebody was critiquing me fairly for pointing out the last time we talked about this, you're not worried about the cost of grading? Must be nice. No, I get that. The cost of grading.
Didn't I say it would be $1 million to grade all that?
Dude, it would be more, dude. It would be more.
With PSA, it would be $5 million to grade last year.
Yes, dude. The results team would be working overtime. Let's just
the Card Ladder app would be getting slammed with traffic.
Card Ladder app is going to be searching a lot of exquisite cards that probably don't even have any sales.
No, they do. I've tried to search some of those, and it's just nope, no results. One of what are you gonna do? For me, the obvious reason is that we don't have sales history going back that far for a lot of this stuff. There's no public sale, and it's a 101, and he's the one that's had it since then. How would there possibly be any public sale?
Yep, exactly. And okay, so my one critique is I do wish they were graded because I do care about the condition. I do think cards look cool in slabs, and I want to know dude, it does matter. That LeBron Tracy McGrady logo man, it matters if that's a PSA 9 or a PSA 4. That matters. So I want to know. I want to know what the condition of that stuff is. But also, I'll give. But I understand it not being graded, and there's something amazing about having your cards raw and popping off the front of the One Touch, and just like being able to see that card without any plastic in between it and your eyes. There's something really nice about that, and it does, like, the consistency of it looks awesome. It makes for a really nice presentation. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I when I see it, I just kind of think of like, man, this is just so pure. Like, this is just the guy that bought these cards at a time when grading just wasn't as popular or not even feasible for someone that lives overseas. So like, he just never even had the option. And so seeing it now is like, man, this guy actually collected this stuff with conviction, spent a lot of his money and time, clearly a lot of his time and money, and this is just the outcome of it. Like, this is just what it is. It's not like he sat and like contemplated his life decisions on should I grade these or not. I think this is how it turned out.
Well said. And not spending money on grading leaves you more money to buy cards.
Get to that. Do that question now. We have a question.
Oh, let me say one more thing. On Kimmy, and then I'll get to the grading question. I also wish, and this is going to be very ironic coming from me, but I wish the cards were photographed better.
You've done it better.
Like, the photographs are good. The photographs are really good. Like, they capture the card nest. I can see the detail. But like, like a collection of this caliber should have immaculate scans that look exactly the same of every card. So just like, I just scroll the page and it's just like, just perfect scans of every single card. That's what I wish also happened. Yeah, those are my.
Yeah, he needs like a museum curator at his house with a high res scanner photo, camera.
Yeah, and I get it. Yeah, my photos suck, so.
They used to suck, but you've greatly improved. Nice job.
Yeah, well, I just use a scanner now.
Yeah, true. It's just that you used too much like white glare background
Yeah,
before.
I know. Because dude, photographing, like, okay, so, Mikey's cards, the collector who won the Randy Moss credentials, dude, he posted a picture of a card to his story today that I think is one of the best pictures of a card I've ever seen.
Oh, you almost said it. You almost said it's the best ever.
I think it might be.
Let's see it.
It might be all right, let me see if I can pull this up here. What's his account name? It's like Mikey in the Hobby. Yeah, that's it, I think.
I get him confused with Mikey's sports cards. No offense, guys. I love you both.
No, I know. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Like, there's no glare. I think there's a lot of editing done here, probably, to the photo, but like, it's just got this really nice, maybe Photoshop. I don't know. If this was a natural photograph, it's just unreal. I mean, the card is perfectly photographed, like, or scanned or whatever. Like, the color pops on it. It's just so crispy. It's just, it's such a good picture.
This is the one that's numbered to 6 or whatever.
Yes.
Sick. Yeah, great photo. Good job, Mikey.
I saw that and I was just like, dude, you killed that. Number 6. Okay. Let's get to this question about grading. Here we go. All right, from Drake's PC. I noticed some collectors prefer having the highest grades of cards in their PCs, while others prefer cards in lower grades because it frees up cash for more cards or for other things. What are the differences in these two types of collectors? One who wants the best of the best versus one who just wants the card in any condition.
I struggle with this question.
That's what we were fast forwarding to.
Yeah. No, the other one was like, someone asked, at what value point do you grade? It was more of like, I'm collecting lower end cards, or that was the gist I got from the question. Should I be grading these or should I wait until I get more expensive cards? I was always on the camp of like, it should be like an X dollar amount valuable card. Like grading $10 cards never made sense to me because it's like it costs $10 to grade it. That was my thought. This one, you're like questioning, am I a real collector if I care more about PSA 10s than I do about the rarity? It's just a tough balance. It's a balancing act. Like you obviously, in a perfect world, would have a PSA 10 of the rarest card, right? Best looking, rare, like these are all just different factors. It's just like, where do you push more chips to which category? And it's like, rarities for me is number one. I'd rather have the card. But if it's like in the range of, there's 50 of them, and I can make it more fun of a chase to get PSA 10, like then that's the next layer for me,
I get it. This is such, you can reframe this question instead of making it about, like higher grade versus lower grade of the same card. You can make this about, would you rather have 20 mid-range cards or one absolute grail?
Mm-hmm.
Like a similar, it's not the same question, but it like sort of speaks. But I guess like what's tucked into this question is like, how important do you think grading is? Do you think that the top graded version of a card is more of the best, as Drake puts it, than a super rare card that's in a lower condition? Like, is that even something that we should take for granted? It is a Pop 1 PSA 10 of a more common card, or I guess my question is like the highest grades of cards, while others prefer lower grades because it frees up more cash.
Yeah. So it's like, isn't this asking like, would you rather have a PSA 10 of a card and spend 5x, or just get a PSA 6 version of the same card and then add more cards like that, so buy more cards?
Yeah.
That's why I see what you're saying. Like, would you rather have 10 of a mid-range value card or one banger in your collection? Would you rather have the PSA 10 or like 6 PSA 6s of different cards?
Yeah. And like this is tough because my mind wants to go to like Michael Jordan grails from the 90s to help inform my answer, but like grade isn't like super key on those cards. So
it's more like, let's use like modern example, like if you were collecting.
How about this? Or like, how about, would you rather have a PSA 10 gold Prism Mahomes or a PSA 8 gold Prism Mahomes plus some other great Mahomes card that adds up to the PSA 10?
Can I tell you why it's the PSA 10? I think it's the PSA 10 because I'm confident enough in myself and know that it's a marathon of a race where I'm going to end up getting the PSA 10 of the second one that you mentioned that we don't even know what it is. Like, I don't want two PSA 8s of those two cards when it's feasible for me to now get the 10 and then I can still have the opportunity to get the 10 of the other one in the future. You know what I mean? I like giving myself these challenges, and instead of like, I've got the 2, now what? Now I upgrade those later or what? Or I get the PSA 10 that I only had one shot at getting, and I've got it locked up. Now I can focus on the other one.
Yep, I think I lean that way too.
Really?
I think I lean that way too. Yeah. Yep, and you're right. Like, it's a marathon, and you don't have to get every card right away. You can take your time to get the best condition version of every card over the long haul.
Plus, I look at this is going to sound weird, I look at the PSA 10 of that as a different card than that PSA 8.
Yeah.
And we've sort of thought of it this way when we structured Card Ladder, was like, these are two different cards, which is silly. It's not very purist to say. People are going to get annoyed. Subjective grading, blah, blah, blah. I get it. But like that PSA 10 Gold Mahomes to me is just such an iconic Braille card in the highest grade. I just want that. I want to own the best Mahomes card,
Fair enough. All right. Another grading related question from Hobbies. I think I said that name right. I might have written it down wrong. The question is this. I want to get a handful of my favorite PC cards graded, but I can never pull the trigger knowing that all the grading fees could instead be put towards more cards for my collection. How do I overcome this mental hurdle? Should I overcome it? Or, as a more general hobby question, should cards worth less than the grading fee even be graded? I am truly stumped and would appreciate your takes.
I think if you're thinking about it this much, you should probably not grade them yet. Like, it sounds like maybe you're not far enough along in your hobby journey to justify grading these cards yet, and you'll sort of like know when it's time to grade them. Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
Because we didn't necessarily grade everything right when we started, or I didn't at least, and then it just sort of like, it got to a point where I was like, all right, I either need to like shit or get off the pot. Like, am I going to really invest a lot of my time and money into this and get the best condition I can? Should I start grading these things, or am I still just sort of in this like binder hobby phase?
Dude, I was captivated by grading immediately. And I just thought those cards going in those slabs made it seem so official. It's so stupid. But...
Official. I like that word. It does make it feel more official.
Yeah, I was captivated by it. I thought it was so cool. Just like the way that the cards presented in the slab. I mean, I was sending orders to Beckett within like a month of when I came back. Just because I wanted to do. I was so impressed that like I could get a raw card and like get it put into the slab and it would come back to me. Like I was just so excited about that.
Impressed and official. These are like terms that my son would use when he's watching. He's like, I'm so impressed by what I'm seeing. This is like the most official looking thing I've ever seen.
I know, dude. It was very childish, but I'm not gonna like deny it either. Like I wish I had the I can't deny that it's always made a really and dude, like my favorite part about going to a card show, maybe even more than like picking up a great card, is grading the cards and getting them back by the end of the show. And I'm in this limbo, waiting throughout the show, just knowing that there's this like these grades are waiting for me at the end of the show. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. That's my favorite. Anytime a show has on-site or end-of-show grading, I'm grading something. I don't care.
It's funny that like we've positioned ourselves as like these collectors that have this show, and we fight against the corporate, and yet here we are grading all of our cards and buying the grade, not the card. Well, let me ask you this: when you go to the aquarium and you're watching the turtles, do you just think, "Fuck these guys! I'm gonna murder them today with all my plastic"? Would that just like describe you?
That's the real scam. Is that we are destroying the environment with these slabs. Every
time I see someone like breaking slabs and just dumping them in the trash, I'm like, oh my god, these poor turtles, they just don't stand a chance.
It's true, dude. It is a problem. All right, Ryan Bitter. Now to like bring the grading talk full circle.
I think Christina pointed out to me at the show when I did that turtle take, which isn't popular. She was like, but isn't this cards being slabbed like keeping the plastic in your house and away from the turtles? And I was like, maybe that's a good point.
Fair point. Fair point indeed. All right. Ryan Bitter says, has the emphasis on grade gone too far? Just look at some of these questions and sheesh. When did the emphasis change away from cards so much?
See, I told you, man, this and the like game worn stuff has gotten us in a bit of a pickle with some of the collectors we see at shows. They're like, I heard what you said. You suck. Jersey or a Dick's Sporting Goods idiot, like.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, that sucks, man, but I just got to be honest, What else can I do?
It's too official.
It's very official when those cards come back in those slabs. It's just so professional.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I like it. It's just like a nice it's a nice way to enhance your hobby experience. It's not the foundation, it's not the end all be all, but it's a nice way to make it more fun. Like, why would we not want that?
Yeah, it is fun. With that said, it's worth like acknowledging that there are definitely frustration points, struggles, issues with grading as a practice, and that's worth acknowledging too. Just so like that's put out there that grading is far from perfect, and there, but I'm not talking about grading as a practice. I'm just talking about like having a card in a slab is just, it's neat.
Dude, there's been some like gnarly scams, and I feel like given how many cards have been graded and just how much of the money is tied up in the grading systems and companies and stuff, I feel like it's gone pretty smooth.
Yeah, definitely could have gone a lot worse.
I shouldn't. I need to find some wood to knock on because that's like I could jinx the hell out of it. But I don't know. It feels pretty smooth. I know we had like the what's that stupid Wagner card or whatever that was trimmed. Like I know that there's definitely scandals and stuff, but the percentage is pretty good.
Yeah. Fair. Okay. Pale Cards 312 says, when a player's autograph evolves over time, what is the preferred signature? Is it the rookie signature? Is it what the signature looked like when the player was the most dominant? Is it what the signature looks like on the player's best cards? Or is it something else?
It's probably the one that's like the most full. Maybe. I don't know. I feel like people don't really care about this necessarily. It's like LeBron has so many different variations of his auto. It's just like, does it look nice on the card is really like the main barrier. And then the rest is like, maybe you might have some sort of preference one or the other, but as long as it looks nice, it's blue, he didn't like shortchange it or run it off the card. I think people are pretty happy.
Got it. I don't really have too much of an opinion on this because I'm not a big autograph guy. So, yeah. Okay. Drake's PC says, in my opinion, and I think many other collectors agree, Select is in some case has better looking cards than Prism. For example, I prefer 2013 Select with 2012 Prism. If photography and aesthetically pleasing card designer would primarily drive collectors towards cards, why do Prism cards typically far outsell Select from a value perspective?
What's it say about the state of the hobby when we get these questions where like people are trying to find ways to like collect more, save more money, cut costs on grading, cut costs on the brand you're buying so that you could acquire more cards? Am I looking into this the right way?
Yeah, it's an interesting theme that you've identified in the questions. Is like people are definitely like trying to find the value.
They're trying to find more. They're trying to find ways to get more cards. I feel.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. I think if you were in response to Drake's question, I think it's a very smart and thoughtful question. But I think so if photography and aesthetically pleasing, so you have photography and you have how nice the design looks. Those are two factors that matter and they're subjective. And that's okay because you can have intersubjective consensus if many people agree on something, and they might. But I think you also have other factors that you would look at. Like one thing that I think has been injurious to Select is that in football cards, it went from having one tier to having 3 tiers to having 5 tiers. We may even be on 5 or 6. I think the most recent version of Select football has concourse, premier level, field level, club level, and suite level.
Oh.
There may even be, there's at least 5. So like
they need a blimp level.
What's that?
They need blimp level.
Sideline level.
Tailgate level.
So like when
is that just a picture of the stadium from the back of a car?
Yeah. Sick.
So like, okay.
No matter what player it is, it's just a picture of the stadium.
All right. With like blurry, like a blurry picture for the beer goggles.
Yeah, so you couldn't just leave that. You're like trying to move on. You're like, I can't. This is too good. The panini, like taking notes. Like, oh shit, that's a good idea.
So that's like one issue with Select is that it became like 5 base sets, and that's tough because then how do you pick what the player's best card is from those 5 base sets? And even if you do pick one that's the best card, how much better is it than the others? So that I think can sort of dilute that can sort of dilute the appeal of any one given Select card. Now, Drake's example doesn't relate to that directly because he's comparing 2013 Select, which only had 1 level. But when you start thinking about the legacy of a product, which I think is important, the legacy of a brand towards like carrying the desirability of that brand over time, I think that makes it tough. I think that makes the Prism rookie is part of the reason why it stood above the Select rookie is because there's multiple Select rookies where there's only 1 Prism rookie. So I think that is tough. And I also think Select putting an emphasis on jersey autograph inserts and sort of making those the hits sort of takes even more attention away. It sort of dilutes the attention even more away from the base set. Whereas Prism, focuses on the super sick color and parallels of the base set.
Yep.
But hey, I love Select. With all that being said, I think Select is sick. I love Select die cuts, which nobody loves. So, the premier level might even be my favorite level of Select. So
I like your take because most people just take this question and brush it off that like, oh, Prism's better because Prism's better. They're actually getting into the weeds of like, and it made me think that Panini is probably thinking it similar to you, where like they know Prism is the one they can't quite play with. Like we've got to do it this very strict way. This is what people want. Or they're gonna freak out. Select, we got some wiggle room to kind of like, try some new experiments with like, oh, let's add a new level. People won't freak out. It's just Select. They know it's not the premier brand, so they just sort of like tinker with it.
Yeah, you're right. But like to put a final thought on it, I think the gap between Select and Prism is closer. Objectively speaking, and bringing in the subjective factors, I think they are the quality of the card, like the quality of a player's best Prism card versus their best Select card from a given year. I think the gap is closer than the market suggests. Mm-hmm. I don't think Select is as far behind Prism as the market suggests. But that's almost like saying, I don't think the second best basketball player is that far behind the first best basketball player. Yeah, but only one can get the MVP. You don't give half an MVP to the second place guy. So sometimes there just is that separation when something's only a little bit better than something else, but it's a winner take all situation. I think maybe a little of that happens too.
Yeah, it happens to players like, Brady's worth 100x Manning, but Manning was, he's not 100th the player of Brady, obviously.
Exactly. Drake will understand that better than anybody.
So was Manning the Select of quarterbacks?
Yeah, and
Drew Brees.
And we gave Brees his Spectra, I think.
Hey, come on, man! You're trying to get me in trouble over here.
Or should we give Brees Optic?
No, I mean, let's not get carried away here. Isn't that what you said earlier? Let's not. You're like, Clubhouse is the best app. All right, well, okay, maybe not. Let's not get carried away.
I had to catch myself there. Okay, what about Aaron Rodgers' Optic?
Okay, fine.
All right. I kind of want to see this to the end now.
Okay. Well, Desmond Ritter, what is he? Except Panini Chronicles Black or something.
Desmond Ritter is the silver black Prism parallel in Chronicles. So it's not even Prism.
I always think of your take last year when you were like, the gambling community knows so much more and has so much more knowledge of like the statistics and true understanding of what needs to happen to determine winners and losers versus card people just like buying on a whim. And Desmond Ritter always is like the face of that. Like I didn't hear his name mentioned once in any podcast, any fantasy football discussion, no drafts, and yet somehow he's like the third most popular in cards. Good job, Huff.
No, it's so true. And it was Kellen Mond last year.
Yeah.
But Ritter is not as far of a long shot, as much of a long shot as Kellen Mond was. But
He started, yeah.
But like I do just, dude, we're in a parallel universe right now where things are backwards and weird things are happening. And I just love how we've like quadrupled down for like 4 different shows on our Desmond Ritter take. And I just can't wait for him to throw 6 touchdowns and 500 yards on Sunday. And it's going to happen.
No. This is the one I'm not going to be wrong about.
Dude, Josh, reverse jinx this right now. Just you have to do this. Stiff taught me the reverse jinx, and I'm reverse jinxing it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Every time I think about jinxing, I think about the other 4 million people that are saying the opposite of what I'm saying and how they're jinxing it right back, and I'm fine.
Okay, good. All right. So then in the pool of jinxes that have been issued in the hobby, we are barely even brushing up. That's a great point. We're not even coming up against
6 touchdowns. Who are they playing? They're playing the Panthers, right? Maybe? Who are the Falcons playing?
That's right.
That's right. The Panthers have a pretty good defense, and they're going to have to be good because their offense is a joke. They can't even protect.
All right. Do you want to do an extra little chunk here? Or are you ready to call it?
I am waking up in 6 hours, but
all right.
What is the chunk? What's the chunk?
Well, there's still 50 questions.
Oh, God. Well, I thought you meant we were going to go through every NFL game and pick.
No. Do you want to do that?
I mean,
yeah.
Just go fast.
All right, let's go fast. Who would you have picked in Chiefs Lions?
Come on, man.
All right.
The Lions. Money line.
All right. Bengals at, let me make sure is the home team at, yeah, okay. Bengals at Browns.
Let's do snake. Let's snake this.
How does that work?
I give my pick, and then you give your pick, and the next one you go, and then I go. What is this one?
Bengals at Browns.
Browns.
Texans at Ravens. I got the Ravens.
No, we both pick both. It's just that so now you go, and then.
All right. Duh. Okay. Then I got the Bengals too. You said the Bengals, right?
The Browns.
Oh, are you? What do you think, Deshaun Watson's?
The Bengals always get off to slow starts. They were 0-2 last year.
All right. Next we have Texans at Ravens. I have the Ravens.
Oh, Ravens are going to kill them. Freaking C.J. Stroud rookie, they're toast.
Okay, Buccaneers at Vikings. I'll take the Vikings.
You broke the snake, but
Well, I thought I go twice. I thought you go, I go, you go.
Yeah. Vikings.
You got the Vikings too. All right, now it's on you. Panthers at Falcons.
Panthers. Ritter sucks. He's going throw 4 picks.
Oh my God. I'm taking the Falcons.
Rookie quarterback. I'm going to get crushed. They're both rookies, basically.
Yeah. Okay. Then you again. Cardinals at Commanders.
Dude, the Commanders are -7, which is insane because the Cardinals are awful. So that's a crazy line. Commanders are going to win the game.
All right. I'll take the Commanders as well. Then now I go Jaguars at Colts. I'll take the Jags.
Jags. Rookie quarterback.
Now I go again. 49ers at Steelers. Yes. Oh my God. The Steelers hype bubble is going to be popped. 49ers by 2 scores.
I'm going to ride that Simmons train. Let's go Steelers. I'm going to do it. I don't even think they're going to win.
I like that, though. Shout out Bill Simmons. Okay. And then now you go. Titans at Saints.
At the Saints? I'm going to go Titans.
Whew. All right, I'll take the Saints just to keep it interesting. Raiders at Broncos on you.
Russell Wilson still sucks. Raiders.
Oh boy. I'll take the Raiders too, man. No. Give me the Broncos. Fuck it, give me the Broncos.
John Payton.
Yeah. Eagles at Patriots. I think this is on me. Is this on me?
Yes.
I lost count. Okay. Eagles at Patriots. Come on. I got the Eagles.
Eagles.
Yeah. Dude, that line is really small too.
Yeah.
Okay. Rams at Seahawks. Is this me again?
It's Snake. You just always go
Okay.
2 in a row.
Yeah. All right.
Well, I just went, so now I go again.
Okay.
I said Eagles second, so now I go first. All right, what is this one?
Rams at Seahawks.
Rams. I believe in you. Whatever you said earlier.
Damn. All right. Give me the Rams too. I got to stay with that. And now I go. Dolphins at Chargers.
You know what I'm going with? Let's go.
Okay. All right. Give me the Dolphins. You got the Chargers.
Let's go. Oh, baby. We got to get started 1-0.
And now you go. Packers at Bears.
Ooh. I'm going to take the Bears. I think they're going to be super overhyped Monday morning quarterback. People are going to be really excited about the Bears.
Nice. All right. I'll take the Packers just because I'm a true Bears fan who knows that my team is a sham.
We both picked against our local team, so fuck it.
Okay. So I pick last, so now I go again. Cowboys at Giants. Giants.
This is at the Giants.
At the Giants.
Cowboys always beat the Giants, so I got to go Cowboys. Playing the numbers.
All right. And then now you go, and this is the last one.
Jets.
Bills at Jets.
G-E-T. I love the Bills. I just always like them, and I don't know why there's so much hate on the Bills this year. They're going to crush the Jets.
Oh, you got the Bills.
Big. I got the Bills big. They're going to crush them.
Dude, Aaron Rodgers has a history of sucking in week 1.
Yes, he does. He gets crushed last year by the Vikings. Remember that game?
Yeah.
Crushed.
Listen, that was the Packers' Aaron Rodgers, okay? Like, you can't say that Aaron Rodgers will get crushed when you only have Packers Aaron Rodgers as your proof. This is a new era of Aaron Rodgers.
Look, I'm becoming more and more convinced that we've slipped into an alternative universe.
Christina's defending Aaron Rodgers. Let's go.
Convince me. I will take the Jets.
Let's go.
And that'll do it.
Dude, I can't wait for that game, dude. Because the Jets are just like such a great storyline right now. I can't wait. I just can't wait to see it either be awesome or horrible. I don't think they're going to be in the middle.
You think it's just going to be like a blowout or a really last drive type of game?
Oh, I didn't mean the game. I meant I think they're going to go 12-5 or 5-12.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It's just going to get ugly and they're just going to spiral and Rodgers is going to look old fast or this is going to work and they're just going to rip off these wins.
Yeah. All right, let's pick a title. Everything everyone's ever wanted.
50 more questions we didn't get to. My God.
Twerking, the app. Or no, sorry, twerking the app. Only cards as far as my eye can see.
How much would we have to pay you to twerk on this show?
How would it compare to the amount of money it would take to pay me to the NFL?
Yeah. Would you twerk to watch? Would you twerk on this show to watch NFL? And if you don't twerk, you lose it. Just come on.
That's the cost to be able to watch the NFL.
You're I'd rather pay $50,000 than have to do that.
I've said and done way dumber things over the history of this show than twerked. So, yeah, I don't even think it's I don't even think it's that big of a deal. I would probably do it to watch the NFL.
I think I have to Google what twerking is first, just to make sure.
Just to make sure.
And then watch the video of the person doing it, and then maybe we'll see.
Yeah, it might send you down a rabbit hole.
Just like rap videos from the early 2000s.
Maybe. Okay, learn something from what happened when you put your faith in influencers. Who watches the Watchdogs? Unfollow and block. And that could come with like a little emoji, like a stop sign emoji, maybe.
Yeah.
I like. All right, that's my favorite so far. Smear your own poop on the jersey.
Photo match. Let's go.
Dude, when Ken had to take out the white gloves for that Mike Tyson short, look, I thought that he was wearing the white gloves to like not get human oils on the item, but now he's wearing those white gloves so that the viruses and the filth that's living on that jersey doesn't get on him.
Oh, by the way, speaking of getting sick, I think, did we not get sick from this show?
Knock on wood.
We finally have card show immunity.
Yeah, we foretold that.
That was the funniest part of the show. Just he has to wear the gloves to not get it on himself. That's the real take. That's the real zag. Like he saw the shorts. He saw them and he's like, "What is that on the back?" And they're like, "You know what it is." And he's like, "Give me the gloves."
Dude, you can't miss it. You can't miss it. Like
the Wilt Chamberlain of shorts is like, he just like turns them over. It's like, oh my god, what is that?
Dude, the Wilt Chamberlain shorts are just like a droplet compared to these Tyson.
Dude, and you know that one of these days, one of those pieces of jersey is going to show up in a game-used card, and there's just going to be a big old piece of poop on the card. And we're just like, and Lamin's just going to have a field day.
All right. All right.
Ken's going to text us tomorrow and be like, why are you guys talking about me wearing gloves?
Well, before he put the gloves on, he was like asked the chat. He was like, I know some of you guys don't like it when I put on the gloves. He was like, vote, tell me what you think. Do you like the gloves on or not? He's wearing those gloves either way. It does not matter how you vote.
The chat was like, protect yourself, Ken.
Okay, the next title option is "The Toothpaste is Out of the Tube." Then we have voice memos until we reach Nirvana.
You said that?
I guess I did. I'm becoming my dad. Bloody red rematch.
Oh yeah, the Niners and Chiefs.
Yeah.
Why is I'm becoming my dad so funny?
I don't know. It just hit at the right moment.
Have you seen those? Are those progressive commercials with like, you know what I'm talking about, where he's like becoming his dad and the guy's like having to coach him through stuff? They're like on the elevator. He's like, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
State Farm or something?
Yeah.
Or the best is when they're like plotting leaving the game early to get out of there with good parking, or like to avoid the rush getting out, and he's like, no, don't stop.
Okay, I don't know why. I have no idea what this refers to, and I wrote it down like towards the end of the show. Big Turtle.
That's the plastics thing.
Oh yeah. Okay, sorry. Big turtle. And then the final one is a tailgate level select.
Well, we got a top 2, I think.
What are they?
Blocked and unfollowed. Wait, unfollow and block. It's an action, right? So they're both present tense.
Yep.
And then I'm becoming my dad. Or the Nirvana one. I'll put that in the top 3.
The Nirvana one is too niche within a niche within a niche.
Yeah, the biggest topic is the CardPorn one, so the unfollow and block probably has to win.
Yeah. But I also just love how it would be such a crossover zag to just title the episode Nothing that has to do with that topic.
Yeah.
Because it's just the most anti-clickbait ever. It's like actively anti-clickbait. It's like driving people away from content that they probably would want to hear if we just accurately titled it.
Some of my favorite captions, like the content itself is really good, and if you watch it, you laugh, and then the caption for it is just like this emoji or like the shrug, just something beautiful about the subtle, like, let the content do the talking.
Can I just put my vote in for I'm Becoming My Dad?
It's the one that got us laughing the most. Let's do it.
All right. Emoji, like Jose says, put the old man emoji.
I think, yeah, you could do I'm Becoming My Dad with the old man emoji.
Nice. All right.
Or a picture of a lawnmower.
Dude, Christina sent me. Are you aware of that song with that guy who's just like the rich old guys of
The Rich Men of Richmond.
The Rich Men of Richmond? Are you familiar with this song?
He made it as like a fuck you to the man kind of thing.
And he's like this guy in a forest playing the guitar.
Yeah. The All In guys are talking about it. I have heard of it.
Like, show me this real, like, because it's like a real, like, painful working class song, you know?
Yeah.
She showed me this kid, like, mowing the lawn, and that song is just like I'm not even doing it justice. It's great. All right, that's gonna do it. I'll see you guys next week.
We're reaching the top.
A lot has changed since Card Ladder began. We started with 500 cards in our database, and now we have over 3 million cards and over 30 million sales.
For anyone asking who is the best, we putting our hands up.
With Card Ladder's sales history feature, we have virtually every card in our system. If the card you are looking for ever sold on one of these platforms, you can find it using Card Ladder's sales history, and you can add a card to your collection with just one click.
My time, none of you people can tell me to stop.
Plus, every card, no matter the last time it sold, has an estimated value that we calculated using our state-of-the-art player indexes. Unlike other apps, when you see Card Ladder's verified checkmark, that means a researcher personally vetted each and every sale.
We know what it takes to be reaching the top.
We know what you want, because Card Ladder was created by collectors for collectors.
Know what it takes to be reaching the top.
Join the innovators, not the imitators. Card Ladder 2.0, constantly innovating. Try it for free. See why Card Ladder is the industry leader in sports card data.
We know what it takes to be reaching the top.
Card Ladder 2.0.